Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here once again. I want to thank you so very much for stopping on this particular post. And here it is, Eddie Marcus and his love and compassion for allowing the Spirit of your Father, your Heavenly Father, God, flow through the words that I say to you in reference to that love that we are being denied as a people because we are unaware of the love of God and our relationship with it. And we might ask ourselves, for such a doubt, where does it come from? What was before it? And what has been the outcome? These are questions that naturally comes to our minds. And when I speak about God, I'm speaking about a love of self that when you on your knees praying to God, or when you're whatever form that you take. Some people go into a closet. I mean literally into a closet. And if that suits you, whatever, and you ask God, you pray for a kind of life that you would desire, that you want. You actually pray for it. And then you should ask yourselves, I put the question before you, that you pray for, do you deserve it? Truthfully, do you deserve to have? I know you don't think about whether you deserve it or not. You want it, and that's your main concern. And ain't nothing wrong with that. You got to want it too. You got to. But is that truly what you want? See, the reason I ask you that question, because if you want it, then you should do anything to get it. And what is required for you to be deserving of it? And that is that you have no problem with anyone else having theirs as well. You see, if you deserve the best, then that you represents everybody. You is plural, it represents everybody. And so your needs being met, your wants being met, your desires being met, there's no threat. And yet, ladies and gentlemen, we live in a time where all of the systems of the world, they have changed history to support the desires of the creators. They've changed history everywhere. They changed history. Whatever history was before, wherever the conquerors come in, whatever was given, now it will be given by the victors. It will be given by the creators. And what message will be given? The message that they want you to know. That's what will be given. Will it include the truth? If it supports what they're doing, yes. If it doesn't, it won't. They'll fake it. And that ain't funny. But that's what the system does. It changes everything. Whatever you believe in, it changes. You better believe it. You know, just to give you an idea, it changed history to reflect. Just give you an idea about this particular creator. They turned God into a white man. Can you believe that? These creators turned God into a white man. You look, when you're still talking about the Bible, it says man was made in the image of God, suggesting that as you see man, the same as how you see God. Can, will, whatever, however they got it lined up. But it'll be a he, and not only will it be a he, it'll be a white man. Now, how did you get that? Well, they gave a picture of the son, who was white. And if his son is white, the daddy got to be white too. So they shaped all of that up. And then Not only did they shape that up, they took the plan of God, which is the plan that would offer you peace and prosperity and freedom and joy and the dreams fulfilled, and gave you an opportunity to assure that by giving you a role to play in that process and making the role that you play the most joyous thing that could ever happen to you in your life. In other words, it giving you motivation to constantly do it, because therein lies your joy. Constantly do it. And so you got no problem participating. The resources that's necessary have been given to you, just like you've been given. The resources are there. And the skills, they're based upon your particular gifts. And then you do it. And it's yours. Now that's the plan, the heavenly plan. That was the heavenly plan. But man said, no, can't have it that way. So what they do, like this Congress politician Santorum once stated in a statement, he was making a speech, and he referred to basically the white man coming into this country for peace, and they were looking for freedom, peace and freedom. Then he indicated that the natives were not considered in the structure. And he realized that he said peace and freedom, and yet he came into a land where people were, and they established your peace and freedom. You end up trying to demolish everything that was already here. That what kind of a foundation was that? And yet it exemplifies the continuous foundation that we're going through today, because even today they are presently trying to legislate Americans out of their constitutional rights. For instance, the right to vote. Trying to make it almost impossible for them to vote. The right to protest. These are constitutional things that everybody under the Constitution of this system that's establishing itself to say that it replaces God by putting man on the throne. And so man is on the throne now, passing these laws, taking away your right to represent yourself in the creation of government rules and regulations that has something to do with your life, especially at a time when it works so much against you, called you a second-class citizen, when it works so much against you, have you homeless many times or struggling to trying to survive. And then they want to take away your inalienable rights, the rights that comes from you, from God to you. And every human being on the face of the earth got the right to survive. And what are those essentials for survival? Food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, and a job. Those are the essentials for survival. You want to take that away? Well, yep, that's what they came here, and that's what they've been doing. They've been doing it all the time. And they've been using everything they possibly can to destroy everything that peace and prosperity and love is all about. Well, to put it bluntly, in American terms, so the white supremacists can be the star. Wasn't nothing going to be wrong with the star. Why we got to be beat down? And if everybody can be the star, what's wrong with that? And if everybody can be the star, and only one will be the star at the rest of us, demise. What does that say? What does that say? That says we don't know the truth, because if we knew the truth, there's no way we'd allow that to happen. And so, ladies and gentlemen, there I come in, and I know I really don't excite you. I thought I would. I had hoped I would. Oh man, I hoped I would. I used to be a kid. I used to be a young man. I remember when you're really that young, between the age of 20 and 25. You know what your ambitions are, man. You're wild. You're so wild. You want to do the world, accomplish everything. And then you know, well, you know what that story ends up being. Some it's fantastic. Others it's still good. Man, a lot of folks make it. A lot of folks don't. And it's the ones that don't that I focus on. Somebody said, well, why don't you focus on the glass half full? I say, because there's still half missing. And that glass is not solid. It's not complete until the rest of them can fill in that gap. And what's wrong with that? I mean, what's wrong with you being satisfied? How come you got to be overly satisfied? No, I want to say, oh, I mean to talk this long. We're living in a system that says make money, because that was to replace God's plan. God's plan was replaced with man's place using money. That way he can control you. So he can, if you know, if otherwise he can't control you. So he have to work with you. Can't control you, got to work with you. If he can control you, got to work with you. You do what he say. Ain't funny. Anyway, I would just want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, that God says this pain and suffering is the result of you following the dictates of man, which approves people being hungry and having no shelter, having been denied education, health care, all of the stuff that God has given you free. Do you know that everything that exists on this planet that you utilize today is supposed to be available to anybody on earth that wants it? It's not imposed on everybody. You don't have to take it, but it's there for you if you want it. And it doesn't cost you a penny according to God's plan. But we have accepted someone like the Madoff and the Ponzi scheme. This what we go through every day is the same kind of thing. It ain't nothing but a Ponzi scheme. Somebody has imposed something on us, and we've accepted it. Some of us make millions of dollars, and we will always support the system. Why? Because we can do what we want to do. And we'll give you some handouts down there. We'll give you some charities, but as far as us taking a risk on where we come from, we ain't going to take a risk on that no more. That's what millionaires say, especially if they was poor. So you can't count on them to do anything for you. You just have to stand up and be bold and tell them that they're going to have to show their ugliness. Show their ugliness, how ugly money has made them, because you're not going to take suffering. And whatever must be done to adjust that, it will be done by the power of love. Not hate, but the power of love, which basically means we're not bringing anything violent to you, but we're not going to run from your violence. We're going to stay on the righteous side, because we know if we're on the righteous side, we can defeat any foe. Any foe. Anyway, we don't have to fight. We're lovers. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call it quits for now. Goodbye.